like you have. We're going to be talking about e-commerce excellence today. And you can see, you can find me at the very bottom left is my Twitter or my X handle. That's at Maria Duran or at Marketing Coach Maria. And I share those because I love to celebrate when people actually apply what they've learned. And I love to hear, Arleti, when you have landed on your concept and where you want to get started, because that is a person of action. And I love to celebrate that because that's only 17 to 18% of us, right? So let's talk about e-commerce because there's been a shift in search behavior. We cannot not acknowledge AI, artificial intelligence now permeates all of search and everything. In fact, a lot of people don't see it just as a tool anymore. In fact, that shift will continue to come. It's no longer a tool. It is truly a way of doing business. And it's a big shift in the way business is done. In fact, at the start of 2025, it shifted how we do search. So we'll see what Google sees first because it's important, even though there are ways, so many ways to search now. Some people will search and discover things through TikTok and Instagram stories, or perhaps they're looking on Amazon, or they could be looking through Perplexity or ChatGPT and asking it for information. So because there's a shift in search behavior, we want to know what Google sees first because Google's still the backbone of all of that. It is the search engine that all of these tools go back to and look for information. And what's good for Google is good for any other search engine. So it's the gold standard. And if we find out what the gold standard is and what's needed, then we're good for any other search platform or ways people actually look for answers. We'll talk about content that converts, smarter decisions, and we'll always finish with a recap of resources, what will be helpful to you. Also, they're always free. And as I said, please the core chapter because there's such a wealth of information. So let's talk about that shift in search behavior. Well, first, we talk about that. People no longer go online, they live online. We would rather leave our wallet than we will leave our phone. We'll go through heavy traffic and back through just to get our phone because it's such a connection for us. It is where all of our information is. It is where our library of information, our storage is, our photos, our videos, where our some people, some connections and contacts, we couldn't even call them and contact them or message them if we didn't have our phone, right? So we have to have all of that. So we do go online. In fact, we see now that since January 2025, search has changed dramatically. In fact, so much so that for the first time since 2004, when Google was born, right? So since then, they're now starting in January 2025, we've seen a 15% increase every single day of daily searches that have never before been seen. That's amazing, right? Because you think after 20 years, 2004 to 2024, that we would have seen it all. But come 2025 and search has changed so much. So it's important for us to understand that. In fact, Amy, you're in the right place because this slide actually came. This is the latest information that I pulled and updated for the restaurant, the Restaurant Expo and the Texas Restaurant Association. So you can see that 79% of consumers are using Google to make dining decisions. Think about it. You're looking where you want to eat. You've got Google Maps here, or maybe you're using Apple Maps. So Google Maps has Google Business Profile, Apple Maps has Apple Places. Being in both places is not bad until you know who your best customers are. Then you might want to lean towards where they are and not focus on too many different things. But the very minimum, you need to show up on Maps. So I would actually be in both places because you just don't know what kind of device they have at that time. But you can see they use it to make dining decisions. They're actually searching on Maps. You can also see that they read reviews. So that third-party validation is so important. And it is very critical for you to get reviews. In fact, we know that for local business establishments, it takes 60 5-star reviews for you to compete. All right, 10 5-star reviews for you to be included with and considered in Google's algorithm. So that is what one of the focuses are that you see a lot of people doing is focusing on getting reviews because they know how much it's important, how impactful, I should say, and important it is to be able to show up first in search because that's where people look. They only look at the first 10 search results, which is one organic page on a desktop or laptop or on your mobile phone, that's 2 swipes up, right? And most of us go on mobile. So it's important for us to know that's where people go. And I talked about search changing. So now people circle search. So they use Google Lens. Understand that Google Lens has been around since 2017. 2017 is when Google Lens was born. And since then, 12 billion visual searches, which means they snap a photo of what you have. So Arleti, let's talk about that for a moment. If, let's say, somebody sees, let's say they see a bag that they love, right? They take a picture of the bag. They don't want to ask somebody. Maybe they don't even know them. They're just passing by them while they're having lunch, and they're sitting at the cafe or restaurant, and they take a quick snap of their bag. Now they search for that. Understand Generation Z and Gen Alpha actually search by circle search, which means they're used to now being able to circle on their phone, tap it, and it searches instantly. But you do have a group that snaps pictures, in fact, to the tune of 12 billion a month. So if you think about that, and they're utilizing Google Lens for that, if you think about that, so they see that bag, if you have not taken a photo of the bag that you have in your shop, then the only bags that are coming up in their local area are places that have. And that's important because if people don't know you exist, they cannot do business with you. So think about that. People are now visually searching as well, and they're asking full questions when they're talking to AI. So search behavior has shifted quite dramatically. And most people now want a very personalized experience, which means they want you to understand. Let's say, for example, that Amy, they come to see you and they came for, I don't know what you serve at your restaurant, but let's say you serve fajitas. I happen to be in Texas, based in Texas. So for me, fajitas are a very standard restaurant dish. So if they come for fajitas, well, if you have a really personalized brand experience, what that is that maybe the server knows, hey, Amy, it's so glad to see you here. Yeah, got your fajitas. Do you want those corn tortillas? They already know. You don't want the flour tortillas. You want corn tortillas. And what about it? Margarita or mojito today? So you know what you like. People want that even in a digital experience. They want to know that you're paying attention. The last thing they want is to be a loyal customer, and then all of a sudden you send them email saying, we'd really like to earn your business, because then it makes them wonder if you value their business. We also see people making money now through community engagement, right? You see it on Instagram Reels, Instagram Lives, as you see people on TikTok, they're actually selling when they're going live. Even in YouTube, there's a YouTube Live. There's a whole community there. So you could do YouTube shopping. You could also, let's say, tag on your videos what different tools you have. So if you're using, this is a drink here, you might want to make all of these things. And if you want to make it at home, these are all the ingredients that you need. And people are making a percentage of sales from being able to collaborate with different brands, or even an affiliateship, like let's say with a Walmart or a Target, which you see quite a bit. So you see live shopping and podcast being a very important part of the way people shop now. In fact, if you're on Amazon, you'll see the discover part of Amazon. And when you see that discover part, that actually brings up people who are Amazon influencers and affiliates and what they love, so that you can know what they're looking for. In fact, I posted today about the gloss I use, and will sell a lot of that because that's just a part of one of my revenue streams. So it really depends on what your revenue streams are that are important to you as you grow your business. It could be advertising revenue. So as you're growing your e-commerce shop, it could be more than just you selling your products. Let's say you work with somebody who is maybe a local high school volleyball champion, and they're out there speaking about, I always shop here. I look at this store, Arleti's, the ABC shop. So let's just say that's the name of your store, Arleti. And I always go here to be able to, before I go anywhere else, because this fits great into, my budget. Or it's a college student. Maybe you have a subscription, because maybe you can add that into revenue streams. So these are additional streams. This is not instead of your e-commerce store, but additional things like subscriptions. Maybe you have, how you check through different products, or perhaps you have an early look. Maybe this is before it hits the sales floor, or before it's out there for the general public. You get a sneak peek. So you get to see this, and you subscribe for $2 a month, because now you get a sneak peek and you get first dibs on everything. Or maybe you have auctions that you do. Perhaps you have merchandise and service revenue share. So that is you collaborate with somebody. So if they are talking about you on their socials and on their blog, or they do videos about you, now you will share some of the revenue that they actually drive to you. Or it could be affiliate marketing, where you are endorsing things like, for example, Amazon you're working with, or Target, or Home Depot. It could be any of those large major places that will give you a percentage of sales if you showcase different products that they have on your social streams, because, or your blog, just because that might be where you have visibility. Even with social commerce, you can see that right now only 4.1% of US sales is there, and you've seen it. I know me, even though I'm not the right target market, I still go look at Instagram and I discover different things within Instagram stories. And I then go to Google afterwards, after I search it and I do a quick save of it or a link and do a little bit of research. Then I go into Google and do some deep research just to make sure that they've got great reviews. Everybody feels that they are a real viable company before I start doing business with them. So you can see just the growth there that's happening just in social commerce, which is another aspect of e-commerce. So when we talk about e-commerce, it's a really big topic. And as you're deciding where to focus your efforts, it's really important to focus on those items first and then determine and measure whether or not they are successful for you. Because if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. $1 or 1 minute spent, that's not getting you closer to your goal or lifting that bottom line, is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. So that's why we have to make some really good decisions, and we need to rely on analytics and our dollar amount, knowing what our average order value is and the lifetime value. So Arla T, you will hear that, and Amy, you will hear those terms quite a bit. AOV is average order value. You always want to increase that because it's always easier to do business with a customer who already knows, likes, and trusts you. Or LTV, lifetime value. What's the lifetime value? So how many times does this customer come back? Do they bring friends and family? So it all starts with search. All right, so when we look at Google, it all starts in search. So let me show you where you can see that, because I love to do live demos, just because sometimes the platform changes from what you see on a slide. And I want to be relevant to what you're seeing right now. So give me a moment. That always takes me just a moment to switch screens. All right, so we're in a Google search, and let's say that we're, let's say restaurant. Amy, what is, well, actually, I'm going to go to Arla T. Let me do a little help for you here. What is, you're saying it's pre-loved women's clothing. Okay, I'm going to try pre-loved women's clothing, because you'll hear a lot of people talk about keywords or keyword phrases. What that means is that's what people are using to search. There are the words or the full sentences. That's why you hear keyword phrases. They're the words or sentences that people search with. So as you see me typing in here, you see that drop-down menu appear, and what that's showing you in real time are the active, most popular searches that are happening on Google. So that's one overlooked place that, for free, because you don't need a Google account to go search at google.com. All I went to is google.com, and I put in pre-loved women's clothing, and you see the drop down that's coming in is where and what people are searching right now actively on Google. So when I hit enter, so that's the first place to look for keywords. I know there are lots of tools that you can buy to be able to look for keywords, but who has money for that when they're starting, right? We are bootstrap marketers, and it's more important that we keep our money than to spend it, because that's also a part of growing a business. And the more that you could do for free, I love free or small fee, right? That's how I started my business. So as you see here, now you see pre-loved women's clothing, you'll see sponsored is the first answer right here. Of course, ads go at the very top. That's how Google makes its money. So we just can scroll past the sponsored because these are ads. These are not true search results, but you can see they take 2 positions right here, all right? Or 3 positions, 1, 2, and 3. We see the sponsored. Now, this is the first organic search result answer that we see. So let's take a look at this and see what they're looking at. Pre-loved clothing and accessories. You can kind of take a little bit of look here, and you might want to study their site because they're doing well and showing up high in a search just for those, that search term, pre-loved women's clothing, that keyword or keyword phrase. All right, as we go down here though, we see this. People also ask. This in real time is telling you, Arla T, what people are asking AI and what they're asking and seeing in AI overviews. What is the best secondhand clothing website? So those are the full sentence or the full questions. If you can answer those questions on your frequently asked questions on a page of your website or in a blog post or in a TikTok that you're doing, or maybe you're doing a YouTube short, or maybe you're doing stories or a reel, Now you are aligned with what people are actually looking for. And it takes a tremendous amount of time, energy, and money to get people to look somewhere they aren't already paying attention. So the fact that their eyeballs are already here, then I would, if I was consulting you, say, you know what? These are the 4 questions you need to create your content around, because right now that's where it's hot. That's where people are already paying attention. If you can get some of those eyeballs looking at you, now you have a great chance to grow an unknown business to be more visible. So this is something that I would definitely take a look at here. And you're going to look at other search phrases, but first you want to start with, each one and look through and see what people also ask, because people are asking in full questions. Let's scroll on down then to the bottom of a Google search page, and you'll see 8 rectangles here. And each of these also represent what are the 8 things that people are searching most and actively. These are the most popular searches happening right now in Google. And that's important for you to know too. You see here also, right here, Arleti, they are looking at Depop, Poshmark, and eBay is third. So maybe you want to look at Poshmark, because I know a lot of businesses that do business there as well. All right, or Macari, but right here, eBay is third. I'm not saying that it's not the one to look at. It might be the best decision, but it's also important to see what else is coming up when people are searching, because even though we might have an idea of how people search, it's better and most important for us to understand how our best customers search, because if we don't know that, then we could miss them, and then they don't know that we exist. So I showed you what that looks like here, and your business profile is a free tool that you can use even if you are only working from home and you don't want people to see your actual location. You can ask, or actually put and check on your business profile for Google to not publish that on search and maps, but still show that you serve that service area. And that's key too. We have a whole session on that. So if you want me to do that session, just get with your local SCORE chapter and I'm happy to do that. How do we ask Google to do that? To do what? To not show your sorry, let me put my face up there. I thought I was talking to you. I had that slide up the whole time. So what you do is, when you're actually setting up your business profile, you're going to go ahead and put that you don't want your location shown. So you will still need to put the address, because Google needs to verify that you're a US based company, that you truly do what you're doing. So it wants to make sure to keep scam and spammy things and more nefarious, phishing sites off of Google. So that's why it goes through what's known as a verification process. But once it does that, then even when you're doing that, you can tell Google not to showcase your actual address. So it's a choice. It's choice number 3 or 4. It's question number 3 or 4 if you're setting that up. So Arleti, you may not have already have you set up your business profile? Let me know in the chat. All right. And if you have not, just let me know in the chat. We are recording, so I just want to make sure everybody's sound off, because I don't want to, not yet, no worries. So when you do set it up, it's the 3rd or 4th question you're asked. Now, the temptation that's going to happen, Arleti, to you is, once Google does verify you, so you're going to get a 5-digit verification code that you're going to put in here. And instantly when you do that, the first thing it's going to show you is, do you want to move the pin on the map to show exactly where you're at? Do not do it. Just skip. You'll see it's very much faded and gray to the left. It'll say skip that, because if you do that, people don't realize when they move it around, that is a signal to Google that you are okay with your address showing up on search and maps. Now, for Amy, as a restaurant, of course, she wants people to find her, so she wants to show up in search and maps. But for you, Arleti, you may not want to if you don't have a physical location that you want them to see. So we could talk more about business profile, especially in a session about that, because there's so many different things that you can do with business profile, and it truly is where AI pulls its information from. So that's why it's so important for businesses to manage their Google business profile information so well and actively, at least be posting and updating there at least every 5 days. All right. Now, when we talk about e-commerce, another tool is Google Search Console. So this is also free. Everything I'm showing you here is free. So Google Search Console, you can get with your free personal Gmail or Google account. So either one, you don't have to have a Gmail account, but you don't have to pay for a Google account to have access to this. And what this is the door to Google's library. So Google is not the World Wide Web. It is the biggest library, a directory of the World Wide Web. And it is on us as business owners to enter our digital property, our book, so to speak, in that library. That's our website. That's our information. Any of our digital presence that we have, we need to enter it into the actual library. We can hope that Googlebot will find us, and it's pretty good. But I don't want to lean on hope because I love hope, but it's a poor strategy. I would much rather be very strategic and say, once I post a new product, or let's say I put a blog post out or a photo or a video, that I can alert Google and it can see it right away instead of waiting 90, 180, 240 days. We don't have that kind of time. A lot of times small businesses, especially starting out, may run out of cash before they do that. So where you can show your actual products on Google, if you're an e-commerce store, is you can show it within your Google business profile, because there is a product section where you can upload all those photos. Remember what I said at the start about how people search, just taking and snapping photos or circling photos and then tapping and searching. You can also show up on Google's shopping tab, which you saw a moment ago, but I'll show you just so if you haven't seen it before. Then shopping ads, I'm going to put ads to the side because that's paid. You have to pay for that. So that is Google Merchant Center is the tool that you can use to use Google Shopping ads, but there's so many free things you can use like Google Shopping tab, Google Images, and Google Lens, that you don't want to just say that it's only where ads are, because a lot of people overlook the power of Google Merchant Center. So I'll talk about that in a moment. They overlook that power because they think it's just when they want to utilize Google Ads. And then of course, Google search. So we'll go into each of those. Okay, oops, let me bring that up so we can go into each of those. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go back to that. All right, so Arlette, what's another, or let's say Amy, I'm gonna lean with Amy now. Amy, what is something, or tell me more about your restaurant. What do you serve at your restaurant? And Amy might not be able to type right away, so no worries if you cannot. No worries. What's your restaurant? Tell me, it's a small restaurant. What are you known for? Do you serve American fare? Are you burgers? Are you Italian food? Are you Mexican food? What do you serve? Ah, okay, perfect. All right. Beer and wine, everything from scratch. Perfect. All right. And New American, I'm going to put that there. All right. You can see in real time what Google's bringing up, right? Okay, so you can see this. Then you'll see what's known as the local pack right up here. So now this is picking up my location. Google's actually picking up my IP address, and it knows that I'm in the Midland, Odessa, Texas area. So it's picking up my location. You will see up here how you earn this spot is by having great reviews, having and answering great questions on your Google business profile, and keeping information updated and posting regularly to your Google business profile. So this is also important here. All right, burgers. Perfect. Thank you, Amy. All right, you're making me really hungry now. But thank you. I do appreciate it. I asked for it, right? All right, so you see here, people also ask. This is what they're asking. These are the questions around that search. So it's important for you to know what people are searching for. And here in their own words, people will let you know what they're searching for. Another place to also look what people are searching for to make decisions is read your reviews, because people write about the things that matter most to them. So if they said you had prompt service, tasty food, hot, delivered hot, or served hot, then understand those three things about being served. All of those are important to them, and make sure you include that in all your descriptions and text you're putting out there for blog posts, or maybe even the captions that you're putting on Instagram or your posts for in TikTok. Keep that in mind, because those are the words that people are using. And if you don't have any reviews yet, start reading your competitors' reviews. Arlette, read those competitor reviews, because in their own words, people are telling you what matters most. And when you look at competitor reviews, a lot of times they reveal what they didn't like as well. And those might be an opportunity for you and your business. Okay. All right. So you see here again, those 8 blocks that are showing you what people are currently searching right now, new American cuisine recipes. So let's say, Amy, you're going to do a TikTok out there and you are open and you're going to have this great early dinner, you're having happy hour and you've got this great appetizer or starter that you're showcasing, and maybe you're going to do a TikTok and a YouTube short about that recipe. So you're going to put the recipe together there and you're going to do a quick 30-second about, hey, we put this together and this is what we're creating, come taste it, because you want them to see that and really feel like, oh my gosh, I know what's going on. When people feel like they can be that fly on the wall and see something more than anybody else can see, they love that. And understand, this is where people's eyeballs are right now. Remember what I said, Google search is telling you exactly where people's eyeballs are right now. Oops, let me go back to that. I switched. All right, let's go to google.com again. All right, let's say that I'm going to pre-use, or let me see, used coach bag. Okay, I'm just going to use this right now. I'm not sure, Arlette, even if you're going to deal with bags, but let's say use coach bags. I'm going to hit enter here. And of course, we see everything up here that's sponsored right away. But then right here, actually right here is sponsored. Right here, we see the first organic search results. When I talk about Google Shopping, there is a whole tab here for Google Shopping. Now, it just so happens this is starting to showcase on all search, but shopping is truly that comparison shopping spot for Google where you could say, I only want to look at women's things. I want only a shoulder bag because that's what I like, and maybe only genuine leather. So it'll start filtering. And if the photo of your products is not here, then you're also missing this opportunity, because remember, people are going to look and find the things that are closest to them. Even when you've done great business with somebody and they love you, they give you a fantastic review, if you don't stay in contact with them, they forget and they reach for whoever they just saw pop up first within their feed of whatever they were looking at, whatever socials or in search. All right, another place though that you can also show up, remember what I said about Google Shopping being one? Let's see, Google Images is another. If you aren't here, again, with the images, if you're not here, then people can't snap a photo. I could be at a baby shower and I just see somebody's, this hot pink bag maybe just catches my eye and I take a photo. Well, if you don't show up and have that photo there, then people don't know you exist and they can't be able to decide to do business with you. So that's why it's so important for us to utilize the free tools that Google has available to us, which Google Business Profile, you can post your services. You can also post your products. Google Merchant Center, you can actually showcase your products in Google Shopping tag, Google Images, and Google Lens when people are searching by visual search. Now, when you look at your website, let's see, I've got a question here. How do our products appear in Google Shopping? Is it automatic? It's when you use Google Merchant Center and Google Business Profile. So let me show you what that looks like, because I think it's easier when I can give you a visual, but I do need to bring up another screen. So hold on just a moment, because it does take a little bit just to bring that up. But a great question, Arlette, and I do want to answer your question because I think whatever you can do to max out the tools you're using is the best. And I'm going to show you, let's see, let's give it a time to load here. All right. This is my Google Business Profile. This is how I manage things on Google Search and Maps, and how you can as well. Again, it's available with a free personal Gmail or free Google account. So how I would add my products here is, Arlette, you could see right here, edit products. I could add services and edit products. You will see this screen in search when you have claimed and verified your business profile. So when you log in and you're utilizing that same Gmail or Google account that you created this business profile with, now this is what you'll see when you go to search and you see edit products. Now, I don't have any physical products, but I do use edit products, and this is why, or I use the products area. I actually have pictures of my digital products. So, yes, I help people with how to utilize Google Trends. I have courses and things that I pre-recorded, plus I assist them with being able to show what you're doing in there. So I give a lot of walkthroughs in these different courses. They're digital products, so they're not real products. So I have to take photos of things that represent them. Not the best thing, because especially for you, Arlette, what is even better, these don't rank as high in Google because there's text on them. So whenever Google sees text like this, this, it thinks it's an ad and it thinks you need to pay for it. At least that's what it's taught Googlebot. So for you, you want to use photos that don't have any text, because if you have the actual product, and which you will, since I'm actually taking a digital product and making it look like a product, you actually have product, Arleti. So you could put your products up here, and what you would do is you would go here and you would add a product. So when you add a product here, you can actually lean into AI, which will help create your product photos, or you can select a photo here that you actually have. Let me give you a hint. AI photos are easily read and seen by Google search, and it knows it's AI. So it pushes it lower in Google search because it's not a true photo. It wants to provide its customers, who are the people searching and buying ads on Google, it wants to provide those customers the best experience. Well, the best experience is when you have a real product in front of them. You know, for example, if I was to buy a pre-used Coach bag, I wouldn't want to see the photo of a Coach bag and what it looks like at Macy's or Nordstrom's or any place, or at the Coach store. I would want to see what this pre-used one looked like, because I want to look for any scratches or any stains to make sure it still looks as beautiful as the original. So I would feel upset if I saw that, and Google doesn't want to make its visitors and searchers upset. So it's going to be able to present these photos first. Then you're going to put the product name. You'll see you have 58 characters. So remember, a character is an alphabetical mark or a punctuation mark, or an actual, letter or space. So keep that in mind. You've got 58. Can this be used for food? Yes, Amy, you were going right. You read my mind. So this is what I was talking about with the actual International Bar and Restaurant Expo. Sorry, boy, I tried to say that too fast. But one of the things they were not utilizing, they use socials for this, which is great, but understand not everybody's on Instagram, not everybody's on TikTok. And sometimes when you post photos there, they're gone in an instant, because we know that the lifespan of a post on socials, unless it's interacted with quite a bit, will be about 0.6 to 1 second. That's all you've got, compared to being evergreen here on Google all the time, that search engines and AI, artificial intelligence, different programs and platforms use, like Perplexity or ChatGPT. So then now you can select a category, or you can create your new category, your own category, Amy. So you could put the price or the price range if you want. You don't have to. These are optional, but these two are required here. Then you want to put a description. You have 1,000 characters there, and really use those words people are searching with. And then you could also put the landing page. Let's say you got a great video of that on TikTok, so you can send it to TikTok. Or if you've got a great video on your website or your YouTube channel, you could do that as well. All right, I see a question here. In my case, I'll have a large quantity of products in my store. Is there a way to add all of them bulk? Yes, yes, yes. It's called Google Merchant Center. So it's Google Merchant Center. I will type it here, because that way you clearly have the name of it. And again, you could use that 100% for free, Arleti. But here's the key. You cannot use it for free if you are utilizing an eBay store, because remember what I said about eBay being closed loop? Remember that? That means it doesn't let Google tools in. So it will not let Merchant Center pick from your feed of products you upload. Where Shopify, it does. I mean, you share something on Shopify, it is instantly seen by Google Merchant Center. In fact, I'm working with one store that has 100,000 products right now, and they are not taking photos like one by one and uploading those. They upload them to, once they do that on the back end, they actually upload it to Shopify, and it instantly shows up within a matter of seconds, 30 seconds, on Google Merchant Center, and shows up in Google Images and Google Shopping and Google Search. So, and that's a free tool to use, but you have to have your own site, which eBay is considered a marketplace, just like Amazon or Etsy. All right, let's see. So for Amy says, I have the business profile that have not utilized it at all. Yes, yes, yes. We have lots of review on Google, location, website, and hours posted, but people have reported issues with our Google page. We've not been updating it weekly. Yes. So how do you update it weekly? All right. So you can add your pictures of your food. That's product right there. And understand also, Arlety and Amy, both of these products, the product photos, also show up on Google search and maps too. So that's another way for you to show up when people are looking for, I want these amazing, burgers or these amazing rib tips. Then all of a sudden that you will show up because you are also having that photo of great rib tips showing up on your actual Google business profile. The other place, of course, you can add it is here is photos. All right. Better to, Amy, since you are a location, better to upload your photo from your actual restaurant location because Google picks up that IP address and shows that you truly are at that location. So it gives it a little bit more oomph and favor in the algorithm. Another place that you can also add that is add updates. So you heard Amy talking about she hasn't been posting or managing there. This is what you would post is updates. So you could put an update saying, all right, it's a photo, your door's about to open, or maybe you're firing up the grill and you're showing them this is what we're doing. This is what we're having. You can share that. And then you can also put a link to call if they want to call, or if they want to order online. If you've got that online, take them to the page of the website where they can order online, or where they can even look and study the ingredients of this product if they want to. Again, if they want to book to be able to get a table, they can do that as well. You can link all of that here. The only thing you don't want to put up here in a description is an actual link, because if you put a link, Google will then say that you are not allowed and that post is suspended, and you don't want Google to ever be upset with you. And the only reason it is because you have the ability to link whatever you want here. So if I said, order online, I could put whatever link I want to here. It doesn't have to be my website. I can take them to OpenTable. I can take them to my TikTok, whatever I want to take them to, or even my WhatsApp Messenger if I want to do that. But then I could also put, if they want to call now, and it will pick up the phone number that's on your Google business profile. Okay, so you could do all of that. You could also do an offer. Okay, so let's do that. Hold on here. So we're going to add an update, and now we're going to add an offer. So now you can add an offer here where you can select images and videos and say, you've got this great offer. We've got this great till Saturday offer, or maybe to the end of the month. And so this offer, you can have a start date and end date will be visible on Google search and maps until the offer's over. So I would put every offer out here as well. Or let's say you're having this great event. All right. So you could put that here. Let's say you're having your grand opening, or Arlety, even before your grand opening, you want to use Google search, Google business profile, because when you put in here that your open date, let's say your open date is in July 30th, 2025. Well, 90 days before you open, it will start showing you on search and maps automatically. Again, these are 100% free. So you can go in here. Let's say that Amy's going to have a special happy hour. So she's going to put the event title, the date, and everything. It can be visible there on search and maps until the event actually happens. So you can put all of these details here. Again, 100% for free. And people are utilizing that, just like Amy was showing us, that people say they see it, they look at it, because people search on search and maps when they want to know, go, do, or buy. That's what they do. Let's see here. I've got questions. Can we add promotions on to Google Updates? Oh, perfect. I didn't even see that. We were right in line, Arlety. We were in sync. Can you repeat about using a link or not? Oh, yes. Okay. When you use, what you want to do is you don't want to use the link in the description. So let's say we're doing an update. And we're going to put a description and say, oh, we have the most amazing ribs, or book us now. And you want to put the booking link. Don't put it up here. Up in the description, you want that to be true, a real description. The link goes to the button, because you have built-in buttons that Google Business Profile has. So you're going to click here, and then you'll build the button. Maybe it's to book. Okay, so now you can put a link to book with you, or maybe it's order online. So you can put the link to order online, or maybe you want them to call them. All right. Or maybe you want them to sign up, and you've got a link to where they can sign up to get more updates and information. Maybe you're sharing the fact that you have a newsletter that talks about every happy hour special, and it comes out every Sunday night. So you might want to do that. Again, don't put the link up here, because that's where Google will not showcase it to anybody. It needs to be here with that button, because that's what it was built for. Okay. All right. You're very welcome. Great questions. All right. Now, also, when we look at your website, make sure that it's easy for people to see and understand. 84% of us go to a mobile device. That's why you saw me lean heavy on Google Business Profile, because it does look good and it's the first thing people see on an actual mobile device when they're searching there. Now, the big key here is to make sure that it's easy. All right, we want to make it easy for people to buy from us all day long. So we want to make it easy for them to check out too, which means we have to have more than just PayPal as an option. Whenever I'm working with an e-commerce store, I let them know everything: Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay, Shop Pay, so they can pay in installments, or Amazon Pay, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle. Make sure you have those available, or Google Pay, Apple Pay. Give them all of that. The e-commerce stores that are doing well, give them any way they want, because it doesn't matter if they're lazing out on the couch just chilling and all of a sudden they want to buy something. They will not buy from you because they have to get up and go to their backpack or their wallet to get something, compared to using one of these tools, which it's already built in. Okay, so they will start looking for somebody who has that. Oh, they don't use this. So if you're looking at your e-commerce store and reading your analytics, Google Analytics for free can connect to your store and let you know how people are behaving, and you will see what's known as they abandoned the checkout. There's a difference between abandoned cart and abandoned checkout. Abandoned cart means they're price comparison, because they're putting everything in a cart and now they're wondering, do I need this or do I need this? And they're getting distracted. Abandoned cart is different from abandoned checkout. Abandoned checkout means they put their email address, their phone number, or their address there. They've answered all the information, and the only thing left to do is to put the financial information. And they look here and they don't see what they like to use. Okay, so that's what you see a lot happening in abandoned checkout. There are two different things. A lot of people like to lump them together. They're not. All right, when you organize your website, always put what's most important at the top. Think of back in the day with newspapers, and that was called top of fold. When it was folded on a table, you put the most important things at the very top. Do that always with your website, which means never put your social icons up there. Don't put Facebook links or Twitter or X or TikTok up there. They can be on your site because people like to go to those to see social credibility, to see what people are looking and reading reviews and what they like there. But put that at the very bottom of the page, because at the very top, you work so hard to get them to your website. And then now if you distract them, let's say they go to TikTok and all of a sudden they see their sister there dancing with their nephew and they completely forgot what they were looking for. We don't want them to leave. By the time they get to the end of your page, they are more purposeful and more focused and not easily distracted. And then it's okay to bring up a social, because now they're looking for credibility, but they are at least looking at your information. So your IA, your information architecture, the way you structure your website, Arlette, is so key. Because if I want to look for bags and you just have shop, if I cannot filter or look for handbags, shoulder bags, clutch bags, if I can't look like that, or if I have to look through all of the pantsuits and dresses and blazers and jackets before I can get to the bags, then it's not a good experience for me. So we want to make sure that our site is organized and relevant for the way people consume information. And remember what I said at the beginning about 66% want a personalized experience. So offer them something else. Would you like this? Would you also like this? You may like this. Have you tried this at all? That's sometimes my favorite thing, even in restaurants, is when people come up and they're like, okay, have you ever tried this? And I'll say, no, I haven't. This is my old standard I always like. And they'll say, you know what? Just try it. Here's a little, here's a dollop. They bring a little saucer of it or a little bowl, and I get to try it. And then all of a sudden it becomes my new favorite. Okay. But at least they were paying attention and they offered that to me. So just like I said earlier, personalized experience. Now on your website, these are some of the basics of what's known as website SEO. And there's a lot at play going on right now. We have SEO, search engine optimization, AEO, answer engine optimization. So how are the search engine, how is AI bringing that in? And then GEO, generative search. So that's generative AI search. How is that working as well? All of that is important. So it's important for us to know those words that I spent so much time at the beginning showing you where to find, because you want to align your words with what people are looking for. Google's algorithm is built on 3 pillars. All right. The three pillars are relevance, distance, and prominence. Each of those pillars has 1,000 different elements, but relevance is the most important. How well do you match what people are searching for? So if you are using words like, we have great tasty ribs, rib tips, and but people are searching for baby back ribs, then you're not showing up. It's just like when I was working with a garage door company. So their company was called Overhead Door Company, and all through their text and everything in their profile, they were saying we're the best overhead door company ever. And what people were actually searching for was saying, my garage door fell off the rails. Who can fix it? So they weren't showing up, right? Garage door rails is not matching with the word overhead door company. So that's really important for us to be aligned with that. It's also important for us to have good email marketing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this right now because I feel like this would overwhelm you, especially Arlety, since you're just still in the ideation stage. And Amy, I know you have your restaurant. I don't know how much email marketing you do, but if you do, this is a place where a lot of people think email marketing is dead, and it's not. People still check email. They're just very, very focused and picky about what email gets to them. All right. So you have to give something of value. But if you're an e-commerce store, these are the minimum 8 transactional flows that need to be a part of your e-commerce store. But we can revisit those. Just that you got that in your slides. So just know that we can revisit this later. All right. And then, of course, smarter decisions. If you ever expand out to other areas, this is another free tool. You'll see it right up there, which is visit g.co/market finder. And you can use Market Finder to help you look for new markets outside of your state. So it could be domestic or international for your business. So Arlety, as you grow your business, what you might want to do is actually utilize this tool. You'll put your email address or your website address. To get started, you'll put your website address. This is again free. And then, oh, you need help with this too. Okay. All right, so for this, Amy, also, if you're going to expand out, this will help you look, and it looks at your website. So it analyzes your website. And once it analyzes your website, it will pick up the 3 domestic, if you say you want to look domestically, so within the United States, or if you want to look internationally, it'll say what the 3 locations are that are your best opportunity. And then when it brings up those 3 locations, you can look at the logistics of doing business in that location. You can see all of these details here, so you don't have to do individual searches for these. You get all of your market research right there. Okay, so that's a free tool, Google Market Finder, and you have that in your actual slides. Also, Google Analytics, you heard me mention it a few times. Make sure if you have a website, so you will not be able to connect this Arlety to Etsy. Remember what I said, closed marketplace or a marketplace. So that means everything's closed off to anything except for what they provide. They have their own analytics and insights. But for a website, let's say a Shopify site or even your site, Amy, definitely do this because this will let you know certain things like where people are coming from. Are they using a mobile, or what mobile? Is it an Apple or is it an iPhone or an Android? Where are they coming from? What time are they looking? How often do they come back? Do they go to socials after they go to your site to check on your credibility? Which socials? Did they come in from social? Do they go to your competitors' sites? Which competitors do they go to? So this truly helps you make better business decisions because you truly have an understanding of what your best customer does and what information that they need to be able to make their decisions. All right. So this really helps make you the expert in your business and your customers, which is a superpower for us as small businesses because often we know the names of our best customers. So again, think about what it is that you're going to take action on. We've just spent 60 minutes together, and I know that's a lot of time you've invested. I would love for that to be just that, an investment, not an expense. So please reach out to your local SCORE chapter. Look out for the recording of this because that is going to be coming to you. So you'll get that, and make sure you've downloaded the handout. If you want me to do an SEO audit of your site, I'm happy to do that for free. You can use this link right here or that QR code to be able to do that. Again, it's on your handout. So you don't have to worry about copying and pasting it here, but it is here. Okay. And also, if you want to connect with me and just shout out that you applied what you've learned, feel free to do that right here. This bit.ly link actually brings up all my socials, and you can choose the one that you're most active on. Okay. All right, everybody. And I model what I teach. right? Which is when you've given a good information, good service or product, ask for a review all the time, because people have intended to, and they often forget or get busy. It doesn't mean that they have to, but I would be honored if you did. Okay. All right, let's go into Q&A, and I'm going to bring this up to see, but hopefully I answered a lot of your questions in session. And I did pause the recording now for Q&A if you've got anything more. Arla T, I'm so glad. I am so glad. Thank you so much for asking questions. I need to implement it. Perfect. Remember, they're all 100% free. Everything that I shared with you. So as you look through the slide deck, utilize this, because there's also paid, not paid versions of these, but paid product providers who provide something like this. It really, Google's free tools, they're stellar. And I don't just say this because I speak for Google. Before I spoke for Google 8 years ago, I still run my own business. I learned all of this on my own. So blood, sweat, and tears. It's really Google's free tools. They're stellar. And I don't just say this. Okay. Before I spoke for Google 8 years ago, I still run my own business. I hear a delay in audio. Is my audio that delayed? Somebody's got delayed audio playing in the back.
I can hear it as an echo, but it was not doing that through the whole webinar. That just started.
Okay, thank you. Because I thought, am I just now hearing that? That talk about trying to focus.
Yeah, right. Yep. No, that just started. The rest of the video was good.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Any other questions before we finish up? I know we're 2 minutes past the hour and I don't want to keep you. I do want to be respectful of your time. All right. Thank you so much to SCORE. Bill, thank you once again for the opportunity to do a webinar with you. Did you want to say anything as we close out? And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Respectful of your time.
Well, thanks again, Maria. As always, you do a great job.
Bill, thank you once again for the opportunity to do a webinar with you. Did you want to say anything as we close out? And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing.
We'll see you again on the 3rd of June. Reach customers online with Google. And then again on the 17th, increase sales with Google Tools. So as always, you do a great job. Thank you so much. We'll see you again on the 3rd of June. Reach customers online with Google. And then again on the 17th, increase sales with Google Tools. So as always, you do a great job. Thank you so much. So again on the 3rd of June, reach customers online with Google. And then again on the 17th, increase sales.